Hello everyone and welcome to another beer review, and today we're going to be doing another heavily hyped beer. So today we're doing BrewDog Lost Lager. So let's have a look. There we go, BrewDog Lost Lager, and there's a lot of stuff and a lot of spiel that comes with this. There's United we stand for better beer, fiercely defiant and independent. Planet First Lager. So, what does it really basically mean? Well, what they're basically saying is it's lager like it should be. It's 4.5%. It's a 440ml can, and it's brewed in Scotland. But is it worth the hype? Is it going to be delivering what it says it delivers? Because it claims that this beer is what lager really should be. Now, the thing is, there's plenty of different types of lager. And to turn around and say that one lager is how lager should be is a bit kind of disingenuous and, I suppose to a certain degree, up their own arse. So, let's pour it and find out. Ooh, there we go, it's cracked. Bring it around here and we'll get the pour going. Ooh, don't muck up. Right. There's a big bloody hair in that. You little shit. Where the fuck did that come from? Anyway, right. I'm sure they're not. Something in the glass as well. Right, so there we go. BrewDog Lost Lager. Right, let's get to see what it smells like. It smells grainy. A little bit of malt, but mostly grain. And no real kind of hops, apart from obviously the kind of grain. But maybe a little bit of yeast smell as well. So that's what we're getting. If you're looking at it, it's quite a light looking lager. So it is. Just tilt it just to get to let you see. So, what does it taste like? Right. Let's break it down. Right. You're getting grain and a little bit of bitterness at the front. There's a kind of a mix match going on just as you get it in the mouth, just the front of the mouth. You're getting a little bit of grain, a little bit of bitterness, and then you're just getting an ever so slight accents of sweetness. It moves on to the kind of mid-tongue. You're getting kind of more grain, maybe a little bit of malt coming through as in kind of sweetness. And then the graininess disappears. You're left with a slight kind of malty aftertaste, so a slightly sweet aftertaste. So there's not real kind of any hops there to kind of give it any kind of real character. So that's not there. It doesn't really have the acidity and the aftertaste to give that kind of dry, crisp finish. And yeah. And yeah, it's just slightly lacking. I would say since I've just had a second to drink of it, I'm getting a little bit of bitterness in the aftertaste. But it's fairly subtle, it's not too strong. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a bit of the kind of carling aftertaste. It's just really not there. So, BrewDog Lost Lager. How lagers should be. Well, not really. What I have noticed is when that kind of sweetness from the maltiness and the aftertaste kind of dissipates, you're just getting this kind of slight kind of bitterness just lingering in the back of the mouth. That it isn't very pleasant. It gets that kind of what I call the kind of earwax bitterness. Have you ever basically, stubbed your finger in your ear and then licked it, which of course everybody does all the time, I know I do, and you get this kind of real sharp, horrible bitterness from it. Well, that's what it's a kind of bit like that. It's not really a pleasant aftertaste. It starts off okay. It gets into the mid tongue and doesn't really go anywhere on the mid tongue. It starts off with a lot of potential, gets onto the mid tongue, doesn't really go anywhere, and then finishes up with a kind of mixed match aftertaste, which at the end of the day isn't really that pleasant. I think the bitterness is coming from the hops, but it's coming in very, very late. It's not hop forward, it's really coming in late, and it's lingering in a nasty way, a way that I just don't really particularly like. So, if that's how lager should be, then my view is you can keep it and you can keep your hype, because it's not that great, especially for the price of it. But it's all right turning around and saying about lagers, they're not that great, because what we have noticed, and there are quite a few other people that are actually watching these videos, they also know that it's not really that great, a lot of the lagers coming out right now. Some of the traditional lagers come from Germany and the Czech Republic and things like that, and some of the nice blondes and all these different types of things that are coming, they're fine, not a problem. Some of the kind of historical kind of lagers and pilsners and helles and things like that, all great and fine. But it's these kind of new ones that are coming out, the kind of more craft beer kind of breweries, and they're bringing out these heavily hyped lagers, and they really are lacking, from Camden Hells to BrewDog Lost and even Adnam's English lager, and you just find them all very disappointing and just overhyped. But all well and good saying that, but what's an alternative? If you want something that's brewed kind of in the UK, that's actually very drinkable and as refreshing as a good lager. Well, so we've got this with the BrewDog. We've got a glass, and my view is, if the lager isn't suiting you, then why not go for a good light or golden ale? And a good golden ale has a lot more flavour than a lot of lagers, but can also be just as refreshing. So here, what we've got here, we've got the legendary Tanglefoot from the Badger Brewery down in Dorset. It's 5% instead of a 4 point, I think it's a 4.5, so 4.5 from the BrewDog, 5% from the Tanglefoot, and it's the same size can, 440ml. So let's pour it and see what it's like. So put that there so everybody knows which is which. And let's see if this is a viable option to all these wonderful craft lagers that are overhyped but don't really deliver. They take your money, but they don't give you anything really back in the can or the bottle. So there we go. The Tanglefoot. Right. So, as you can see, this is lighter. This is a bit darker because it is golden. You can see the head is similar to what we're starting with. So let's see what this smells like. Right. I'm getting malt. I'm getting a bit of grain. I'm getting a little bit of hops coming through as well. A little bit of hops and a little bit of yeast. But it's not kind of flowery, it's not floral. You're getting that kind of, how would you call it? Ever so slight, I'm not going to say citrus, but you are getting that little bit of kind of light fruit, not floral, in the hops. So, there we go, that's what it looks like. You can see, it's nicely laced in the glass. How's this? I suppose there's a bit of lacing going on with the Lost Lager, but there's a bit more going on with the Tanglefoot, as you can see, but let's see what it tastes like. Right. Right. You're getting more of a balance there. Oh, yeah. Right. This is how it's quite different. So you're getting a little bit of maltiness and a little bit of grain at the start of the mouth. It's moving on to the mid-tongue. You're getting you still have that little bit of sweetness there. The grain is kind of growing. You get a little bit of some yeasty flavours coming through in the mid-tongue. As it moves on to kind of the aftertaste, that's when you're starting to get the kind of hops coming through. So they're coming through late, same as you're getting in the Lost Lager. But they're controlled. They're working well with that little kind of light sweetness you're getting. And just how they're kind of finishing off together, they're kind of, how would you say, harmonising each other rather than kind of fighting each other. And they're both kind of finishing roughly about the same time, so you're not getting one flavour hanging on like we get with the Lost Lager. You're getting that bitterness hanging on a lot longer than the sweetness, and it's kind of lingering too long to the point it's a bit uncomfortable in the back of the mouth. So, this has a nicer mouthfeel because it's just not quite as carbonated as the Lost Lager. You're still getting the bitterness in the aftertaste, the same as the Lost Lager, but it's more controlled. You're getting a kind of a nicer, blend. It's not, I mean, the Lost Lager did start off quite well. Had a lot of kind of flavours to start with to think, well, here we go, this is going to be getting quite good. It's got a bit of meat to the bone, and it doesn't. It kind of gives you a little hint of what it could deliver, but then doesn't deliver, whereas this gives you the kind of a little bit of grain and a little bit of malt to start with, but then builds on that. So when you get to the mid-tongue, you're really getting the flavours coming through. They're there, they're not accents, they're front and centre, and then as it starts to move on to the aftertaste, the hops are really kind of growing into it, and you're getting a kind of nice hoppy bitterness and a nice kind of malty sweetness, but the two of them are working in harmony. And there's the difference. So if you're looking for something that's refreshing, very drinkable, but is more flavoursome and delivers more than you're getting with your craft lagers, then why not look at some of the golden ales and some of the traditional made golden ales, not the kind of craft ones. And yeah, so what would I give BrewDog Lost Lager out of 10? I'm going to give it 5. It's very average. For the price of it, I would say it's overpriced, it's overhyped. It's not really that much better than the kind of mainstreams like the Forsters, the Carlings, the Stella Artois, all that. It doesn't really deliver anything more, but it's got all this hype. It's a lot more expensive than these beers, and in my view, it doesn't really deliver. Whereas, for less money, you can get a 4-pack of Tanglefoot, which is just as refreshing, in fact, probably more so, especially with the aftertaste. It's got a nicer mouthfeel, and overall, the drinking experience between the two, Tanglefoot is nicer and a good alternative to some of these craft lagers that are trying to kind of take lager and reinvent it under the one banner, saying, well, we're making a lager now and it delivers everything of all the other different types of lagers out there. So all these breweries in Europe that are making different types of lager, you don't need them, you just need our lager in the can, and it delivers everything to everybody. And I'm sorry, but that's just a lot of bullshit. If you just want a normal, nice drinking lager and you're struggling to find it with these craft lagers, then have a look at some of the golden ales, because some of the golden ales can deliver a heck of a lot more. So, it's BrewDog Lost Lager 5 out of 10. Would I recommend it? Not really. Overpriced, overhyped. Thanks for watching. Cheers and bye for now.